Hey everybody, we are back. We are back for another live. And today we are talking about why I almost quit being a cycle breaker. Why I almost quit. And a lot of people are like, oh, you're so good at my days, all that kind of stuff. And I'm just like, right. So this is a little bit of my story, a bit of my heart. But I'm here and I'm not going anywhere. All right. So today we're discussing why I almost quit being a cycle breaker. And I always start with a question. And today's question is, have you ever felt like trying to break a family pattern, these cycles? Have you ever felt like or wondered if it's even worth the struggle? Have you thought, felt, smelled, tasted like this is, it's just too hard? And so, like, is it worth the struggle? That's the question to you. Put your answers in the comments. But hopefully by the end of this that you will get to a place where you're like, I got this. Okay, cool. Like, you have your aha moment. You know, you don't give up. I'm sure that you'll be encouraged by the end of this. One of the things is that you'll know you are not alone. Okay. Anyway, I'm going to pray. Father in heaven, woof, Lord, it is your time. It is the season 2025. It's time to thrive. No more striving. We're fed up. We're done. Like, it's long and it's boring. Okay. It's boring. It's monotonous being in these cycles, Lord, and we want a change. And so today I pray that every mum that hears this is encouraged, is taken from a place of isolation, of striving, of fear, of doubt, of any of the negative feelings that they're feeling, like I can't do this, it's too much, whatever it might be. They will move from that place. Like, they will actually have a mindset shift, Father, that hope will be ignited within them, that they will start to believe again, that their faith will grow. You know, we talk about having mustard seed faith, and it's not just about the size of the faith, it's the potential of that seed of faith. We know seeds have everything they need within them to become the thing that they're supposed to be. And so with that tiny seed of faith that we might have, Lord, or a huge seed of faith, amazing things can happen. Absolutely mind-blowing things can happen. We can't conceive the things that can happen with a small piece of faith, Father. And so right now I ask that you speak through me, that this not be me speaking, but you speaking through me, Lord, that your daughters will be encouraged, that your daughters will start to understand their position, that their mantle is not for them to carry and for them to carry by themselves, Lord, but it's a mantle to be carried with ease and grace, with you helping, with you leading, with you co-parenting with them, Father. Motherhood doesn't have to be hard. It doesn't have to be a slog. It doesn't have to be heavy, Father. And so I pray that you just be with us now in these few moments as I share a part of your heart, a part of my heart as well to your daughters. Do your thing, King of Kings. Amen. All right. So if you're here on the live, say hey. And if you're here on the replays, #replay. Again, use the comment section as your virtual voice. I can't see you. I can't hear you. And so this is the only way I know that you're watching. Okay. Don't be afraid. Do not be afraid to comment. But if you are a little bit shy, we don't like fear. Fear is not of God, right? But if you do feel a little bit shy, you're a bit of an introvert or whatever, then my DMs are also open, okay? But share what your thoughts and your feelings are. Share questions. Share your biggest takeaway as well. I only have one huge takeaway from this today, like my one thing that I want you to really take away from this. But there's going to be lots of things, but when we get to it, I'll let you know. So our foundational scripture for today is taken from Galatians 6:9. It's a very well-known scripture. Let us not become weary in doing good, for in the proper time we will reap the harvest if we do not give up. So we need to keep going. If we gave up at planting, like you plant the seed and tomorrow there's no harvest, and we gave up then, like, we're never going to see the fruit, right? You just give up and you walk away. Then you'll never see the fruit of that. That doesn't mean that there won't be any fruit. It might take longer for the fruit to appear, and it might come, but you would totally just miss it because you gave up. Because it's not here now. I planted it and I expect it to be here. It's not here. It's gone, right? And you're gone, so you don't get to see the fruit. So I want to encourage you with this scripture today. Don't be weary in doing good. Like, in due season, in the right time, you will reap the harvest if you don't give up. So let me start with personal story. If you've been here before, you've heard me say that I had postnatal depression, right? I had pre and postnatal depression, and you couldn't tell me in the time that I had it at all. Nope, me depressed? Definitely not. First child, second child, third child, fourth child is after, I think after the birth or during, like quite near the end of the birth of the fourth, the pregnancy of the fourth child is when I realized that I actually had, probably not even after that. I think it was after that, probably when I was pregnant with child number 5. So I'm a mum of 6, right? 7 including my stepdaughter. And it wasn't until I think I was pregnant with baby number 5 that I actually realized that I had pre and postnatal depression with pretty much all of them. I never had prenatal depression with the first one, but postnatal 100%. And I come from a family of a long line of people who just get up and get on with it. And so I didn't recognize signs of depression at all. I just felt like I don't really feel like it today, but it doesn't matter. You just get up and get on with it. There's children depending on you. You have a husband depending on you. You don't have time to be in your bed. You don't have time to wallow. You don't have time. You just don't have time. Even when you're sick, like, what is sick? I don't have time to be sick. Like, definitely not. Like, let's get on with it. And so I couldn't pick up those signs. Midwives asked, "Are you okay? Have you got support at home?" Yes, I do. I have a wonderful husband. I've got family all around me. Blah blah blah. Totally unaware to like what I should be really looking for, what was really, really going on at that time. And so when I had, with the first one, it was postnatal depression, just becoming a mum for the first time and getting used to all of the things. I was amazing at looking after other people's children, but there's something different about having your own, right? And that threw me a little bit. Not saying that I wasn't a great mum. Everyone says, like, "Oh, you're really great at what you do," and all that kind of stuff. But within myself, questioned all the things, questioned my identity. Don't know who I am. Don't know what I want to do anymore. I'm just feeling like I'm just doing this stuff. Well, I'm just a wife and I'm just a mum. Who is Nicole? I don't know who she is anymore. And on top of that, when our first child was about 4 or 5, she didn't go back to school. We decided to homeschool. And I said last week, I think, in the last live, my husband said, we always said we were going to homeschool. I don't remember that conversation at all, okay? But anyway, God spoke to me, told me, yes, we're homeschooling. Hi, Carrie-Ann! Hey, girl! And so I started homeschooling. But at the same time I started homeschooling, I got pregnant with our second child. And then I was homeschooling, it was fine. And then he was born and everything was thrown out of whack. Like, what do I do now? Having to balance 2 children, a baby, and homeschool at the same time. The same thing happened when the next child was born, and the next child was born, and the next child was born. We are first generation homeschoolers, okay? Learning how to do all of that kind of stuff, I'm telling you, it was crazy. Our parents, not even just our parents, our family was just like, "Are you okay? Are you sure? Like, what are you doing? There's nothing wrong with the school system. There's nothing wrong with you guys. You guys came out well." We were questioned upon question, interrogated. What's going to happen? The child is going to she's going to lose her social skills, she's going to be weird, and all this kind of stuff, right? We were questioned, we were interrogated, we were told we're right, like crazy for doing what we're doing. For me being a stay-at-home mum as well, are you crazy? People don't do that. You should go to work, earn your own money. Hi Alexa. Do all this, like, so that he doesn't own you. He doesn't own you, and you can do your own thing with your own money and all this kind of stuff. So these are this is the wisdom that I'm getting for the women that are around me. A lot of them not married, a lot of them not homeschooling. Got my best interest at heart, yes, but that didn't help me at all with my mental state, being in postnatal depression. Also, what I didn't know until I found out, I think last year, is that when you have children, it takes about 7 years for your mind and your body to just go back to normality, like just getting back to normal. So within those 7 years, I'll just have another baby, and then I have another baby, and then I have another baby. So with a 5-year gap between the first and the second, and then a 2-year gap in between all the rest of them, I was never getting back to my mental state. Like, I was never getting back to who I was before I started to have another child again. So with all of that bearing on me, it's crazy, right? So we were first generation homeschoolers. We are the first couple to get married in our generation as well, I believe. I think it is right. I'm right, yeah. So we were breaking cycles regardless, like just by deciding to get married and young, not deciding to get married when we're old, like older. Having a huge family, breaking another cycle. Everyone's like, oh, you should just have 1 or 2. Oh, you're not crazy. 3 max. Oh my goodness, what are you not doing? You're just doing too much. All of the things, right? Plus thing, I wasn't working. My husband wasn't working a job. We had a family business. Like, okay, that's wonderful, but how are you gonna, maintain all, like, it, it's got its peaks and its troughs, and how are you gonna maintain all of the things? How are you gonna maintain your home if you don't have a regular income? How are you gonna look after all of these children and blah blah blah, all of that stuff? All of these things are challenging in and of themselves. And then you have your friends and your family who are on your side but don't seem to be on your side. And on top of that, you have on your shoulders the spiritual formation of your family, like the health of your family, the mental well-being of your family. It's a lot. And then your home, just running your home, your day-to-day, making sure that the house is tidy and clean and everyone's fed and watered and all of that stuff. It can take its toll on you. And so becoming a cycle breaker for me at that point was becoming really, really hard. And I felt like, I don't know about this thing. Maybe I should just give up. Maybe I should just send them all to school. Maybe I should just go to work. Maybe we should just close the family business. Maybe we should just close down our business and we should just go and get regular jobs like everybody else. And so this is where I want to discuss the struggles, right? The things I just brought up can be problematic in and of themselves, but the things that come along with it, the isolation, like people looking at you sideways, like, are you sure? Are you all right? Are you all right in your head? When when God has told you something, but he hasn't confirmed it with other people, it's not necessarily their job to know what God is saying. It's yours, right? But when God has told you and you're sure that God has told you to homeschool and to start that business, to leave your job, to be a stay-at-home mum, whatever the thing is that he's told you, to go out and work, whatever it is that he's told you, like, you have to be like in that, like, you need to have that in here, because the barrage of comments and questions and side eyes and arguments and everything that happens, it's a lot. And I'm sure even if you ain't done any of those things that I'm saying, just deciding to raise your child in a different way. So one of the issues that we had before was we didn't want our children to be like fully on screens. And we know that now there's loads of information about the challenges of screen time and what that does to a baby's brain and a child's brain. We grew up on TV, but I still don't think we watched much TV. Not as much TV as they have now, because you have access to phones and screens, which we never had. We had one TV in the house. Like, that was it. Computers, what was computers at the time? Anyway, I'm showing my age. So we decided that we didn't want our children to be fully like screen children, and telling certain people that was like, well, what's wrong with that? What have I done? Like, you were raised that way. I was raised that way. It's fine. Like, and it was a whole, it did a lot. there were arguments, there were misunderstandings, like what you did in raising your generation, like my generation, what our parents and aunties and uncles, what they did in their generation was a bad thing. Like questioning their parenting, and it wasn't that at all. But I had so many of those conversations where that's what they felt like. They felt attacked, and so it was transferred back to me. Oh, you think you're such a great parent? Oh, you think you're such a, and oh, it was a lot. It was a lot. It was a lot to maintain, to handle, and at some points I felt like it's just too much. Maybe we should just give in and just let them watch whatever. We should let them go back to school. We should, the finances aren't financing right now. Maybe we should just quit what we're doing and just go get regular jobs, because then we'll have a regular income. There was so much doubt. There was moments of frustration with each other, with my husband Daryl, like that we didn't realize it wasn't each other. The real enemy wasn't each other, but sometimes we'll be at each other, like short and snappy with each other. Be short with the children. Like, why don't you just do the thing? Because if you just did the thing, then no one would be speaking about this thing now, because you just behave yourself. Just learn the thing that you're supposed to learn, so that, people know that you're smart, and they're not questioning what I'm doing at home in homeschool, and they're not telling me I have to send you back to school, and all sorts of conversations in my head, things that people would say that probably they didn't mean nothing by it, but I could be very paranoid about it, like what are they really thinking or what they're really saying. Same thing with my husband, like thinking, oh, what are they thinking about our family? Like, listen, it can be a lot. It can be a lot, right? The isolation, feeling like we're by ourselves sometimes, in what we were doing, which is now I'm like, that's fine. At the time I was like, where is everybody? Where is everybody? I feel like myself. I feel like I can't do this. There were so many misunderstandings. Everyone was sensitive, highly sensitive. I would run away from prayer as well at this time, because I felt like such a bad person. I felt like I wasn't doing what was right by God, and then I felt like I wasn't doing what was right by family and friends, like just stuck in the middle, in this limbo. And it really affected me. It stopped me from praying, which is the one thing, if you're going to stop doing something, not praying, you can stop eating. I mean, you can do that food for a little while, fast a little bit, but don't stop praying. So I want to encourage you, when you're going through these things, like, keep praying, because God told you something. He planted something in your heart, in your soul, in your mind. He gave you a desire for something. He gave you a vision. He gave you a dream. It's not for other people to understand it. But if you don't pursue it, if you don't follow it, then they will never understand it, because it didn't happen. It didn't come to fruition. And so as the years went on, praise the Lord, as I'm homeschooling, more people are like, oh my goodness, Nicole, you were so right. Why didn't I start this? If I started homeschooling at the same time as you, I would be in the same position as you guys. Oh, and there's other amazing things that happen. When you homeschool, you're free to just leave. There's no fines. I can go anywhere I want at any time I want. And it doesn't mean that we just go on holiday whenever we fancy, but we utilize all those moments for learning, as learning opportunities as well. But there's just so many people are now like, I see what you're saying. And now the research is out about screens, and people are like, oh my goodness, now I see what you were saying. Yes, but we seem like crazy people at the time. Pardon you. Sorry. Excuse her flatulence. But so why I say to pray is because God's guidance is the thing that is going to be, it is the thing that keeps you going. It's the thing that provides you with the strength and the clarity that you need. It's the power of faith that you have, that little mustard seed that we underestimate as well. But that faith is activated by like our prayer life and our walking it out, right? Walking it out, our prayer life, our being in the word, which is going to confirm what we've been given. And then we're walking it out, and we underestimate the power of these things, and we draw away from it, which is what the devil wants. That's what the enemy of our souls wants. He wants us to draw away from the things that are going to actually give us the power. And so, this is where God intervened in my life. He sent me, even in my moments of disobedience. Okay? Yeah. In my moments of disobedience, in my moments of doubt, in my moments of anxiety and fear, my moments when I was like, I've had enough, I can't do this anymore. The moments when the overwhelm was overwhelming, like too many things to do, too many things I want to do, let alone the things that I should be doing. Like, and then there's the constant just uneasy feeling with like friends and family and people thinking I think I'm too nice. Like, you guys think you're so nice, don't you? No, I don't think I'm so nice. I'm just, listen, I'm trying to do what God's asking me to do out here. Like, if I got to be seen as disobedient to you guys, if I got to be seen as a rebel, as defiant, so be it. I had to get to that point. So be it. I'm gonna be faithful. You know, like the 3 Hebrew boys, like, we are not careful to answer you in this matter, O King. Like, our God is able to save us from the fire, but if he doesn't, we will still not bow down and serve you. Like, we won't. And we had to get to that point so strong. And I say we, sometimes people say, oh, it's so much easier for you guys because you two were together in it. Sometimes you're just by yourself in it. Sometimes your husband is questioning what you're saying. Sometimes you're questioning your husband, like, are you sure? Like, sometimes you're by yourself as well. That's what I'm saying, right? But God sent these what people call destiny helpers. He sent my helpers along the way. So he sent people to encourage me. He sent people to coach me. I didn't realize that I had certain mindsets anyway, that these people had to help me shift. I had to shift this feeling of that I'm always like, I'm just bad. Like, I'm a bad person if I don't do this. And if I, you know, I'm just super sinful. I had to shift a mindset of I can't, or I will never, and I had to shift those negative things from my whole vocabulary, you know, because never is definite. It's confirming. And so when you say those things, you're always, and I never, and you know, it's saying that, and you're saying it to yourself consistently. It's your internal dialogue. It's what you're saying to yourself all the time. It's what you believe. So I had to shift those things that I didn't even know were there. So God, in his mercy, amazing as he is, sent these people to help me challenge these things that I had in my mind. There were people that spoke prophetically over me that I didn't even understand what they were saying at the time. I didn't understand the prophecies that these people were saying. I didn't understand. There was this guy I worked with, Kay, and he prophesied that my future is green. I said, what does that even mean? He said, don't worry, you'll understand. And in time, when in future, like a couple of years later, when I had my first child, he said, do you remember what I said to you? And I said, yeah. I said about, well, he said loads of things. He said about your future being green. This is one of the things. I said, oh my goodness. I've had 6 children since then. And every time I'm like, when does it stop being green then, eh? When does it stop being green with babies and start being green with finances and with holidays and with health and all of these kind of stuff? When does that start, eh? But I'm so grateful for these people that were prophetic, that prophesied over me. There are other people, there are other things. There are people that say it now and I understand it more, I get it more now. But they spoke over me. They spoke over us as a family. They spoke over me and my husband. We are transition people. Like, you're going to live good lives. Like, you're going to be fine together because you're both in the same boat. You both have the same mindset. You are you're going to do great things. You're going to do great things for the kingdom. Like, when people say these kind of things and they speak them over you sometimes you just like, me, or they just go over your head. And it's not until later on when you start doing the thing and walking the thing out that you start to understand what it is. Like, oh, that's what that person said. That's what that person meant. God's been sending you these hints and things along the way, but the spiritual eyes weren't quite open. The antenna weren't quite up yet. But now you can see it. And so now you can look back and you have all these, this is where God was dotting all of these things around. Oh, right. Okay, cool. So he sent me destiny helpers. He sent me prophetic words as well. He sent me sequences of events that led me deeper. So for example, I was in a homeschooling, we're in a homeschool community. My daughter was doing a cooking class via Zoom, because I think it was probably just around COVID time or something. So she was doing this cooking class with a fellow homeschooler, and it turns out after that, that same lady was able to help me open my spiritual awareness, basically, and for me to hear God for myself for the first time. And I'm just like, God, you don't play around. Like, I don't know if I ever would have seen her or found her any other way. I'm sure he would have made it happen. God doesn't, if you want something to happen, you'll make it happen, right? But how he set that up, oh, she's really interested in cooking. And then all of a sudden, she came into one of our groups, and then I just never saw her in the group again. I don't know what happened, but I got in contact with her about the cooking thing. I never saw her in the group again, but I was able to keep in contact with her. And then I don't know what happened. I don't know if God told her that she should contact me, or that I'm doing this homeschool thing, and where you can get clarity on, doing it. And I went, I did the thing. I was like, oh my goodness, I have never heard God so clearly, And so, how God sets things up like that, it's amazing. But you got to be open. You got to keep going. And it seems so hard sometimes. But then he sends you these people, and he sends you these things. And if you don't grasp the opportunity, take the opportunity in that time, in the lifetime of the opportunity, you miss the opportunity of a lifetime, right? You could. And so those are like just a few things that I can think of that where God just intervened. He helped me to rewrite my beliefs, my internal beliefs, with these different things, with these different people. I've had coaches as well. I've had friends that speak things over me. I've had, sermons that you listen to, or songs that you hear. But speaking God's truth over you just does something different. But you have to be in the Word, and you have to be prayerful. My biggest takeaway that I want everyone to take away from this, that after I'm finished, because I could talk forever on this stuff, is in spite of all the headache, in spite of all the heartache, in spite of all of the hardships and misunderstandings and all the negative, all of that kind of stuff that I faced, what I want you to take away from this is it only takes one person to change the family legacy. It only takes one. The same way it takes one person to give the family a bad name, it only takes one to give it a good name. It only takes one to change all of the frustration, all of the cycles that's been going on so far. Like if there's alcoholics and stuff in your family, it only takes one decision, one family, one member of that family to change the trajectory. So we don't drink. We ain't letting that thing control us. From a family that's very verbally abusive or physically abusive, whatever it might be, it just takes one person in that family to change that. We don't do that here anymore. Like, what I need you to understand is that whatever you choose to do, it will alter the course of future generations. If you choose to remain the same, it will change the course. It will affect the future generations. If you choose to change, it will affect the future generations. So you just decide whichever side you want to be on. But you are at a crossroads, and you get to choose. God has made you to be successful. Regardless, you can be a successful failure or a successful success. Either way, you're going to be successful, but choose. Just decide whichever side you want to be on. So I want to just encourage you to stay steadfast. If you're here and you are under the sound of my voice, you've heard this, or you've been listening to this, you've been watching this, then you should know if you've been called to break a cycle in your family. And I want to encourage you to stay the course. Yes, it's hard, but these temporary hardships, on the other side of that is eternal blessings. There are eternal things waiting on the other side of this. So I encourage you to keep going and to keep pushing. Like, stay steadfast in this. So if you feel like no one understands you, if you feel like people keep telling you, oh, don't worry, you're good, man. You're better than so and so. You did better than mom, auntie, uncle, the other women of this generation. But you know that there's another level. Like, you know that there's more that you can do. If you feel stuck, if you feel like you're ready for a breakthrough in your family, if you feel like you're ready to break the cycle that you're having of the cycle of sameness, if you feel like you've prayed all the prayers, or if you feel like you can't pray, like, I don't even know how to pray. If you feel like you're just fed up, you're fed up of your children's attitude, you're fed up of your spouse just doing whatever they're doing, if you're annoyed with your inability to be consistent, if you are frustrated by the iciness and lack of connection in your home, like between your children, between you and your children, between you and your spouse, between you, your spouse and your children, if you're fed up with those kind of stuff, if you feel like it's long, it's hard, I can't, it's too much, if you feel like I can't do this by myself, you're right. You need others. You know, you do. You need others. Yes, you have your times of isolation, which you need to have those times so you can actually get the work done, like the internal work done. You can be ready to go out and do the other things, like put it into action, you know, the things in your home and in society, in life. Yes, you do need those moments, but you also need to be around people that are going to do the things that you need. So you need to be around people that aren't going to help you feel defeated. You don't want to be around people that are going to help you stay where you are and feel like, make you keep thinking that things aren't working in your favor. You don't want to stay there. So you need to join a community of like-minded people that are going to pull you up, that are going to push you forward, that are going to encourage you, that are going to, you okay, baby? That are going to hold you up in prayer, as well as encourage you and hold you accountable, because they know that you can do better. You need a community like that. You need a God-fearing community. And so I want to encourage you to join my group, the Motherhood Mantle Prayer Circle. This month we are covering the importance of identity, the importance of knowing your identity in Christ and what that does for you. Like, it's the key to not like just pulling you through the hard times, but it propels you forward with energy and confidence, right? So this is what we're discussing this month, and we have a monthly prayer call. The next prayer call is February the 11th, and we're going to be going into praying for our families. We're going to start praying for our families. We've been discussing preparing for the battle. The battle is of the mind. It's for the mind. The enemy of our thoughts has been winning the battle for too long. We're not having it anymore, okay? And so for the last two prayer calls, we've been discussing being ready, getting your desires and your focus right, and then knowing who and whose you are. These are two main things in getting prepared for the battle. And now we're going to start the battle. And so if you're not part of the, sorry, you want to say something? No, not anymore. If you want to be part of that, if you want to be part of figuring this thing out, if you want to be part of fighting for your family, winning the battle of the mind, then you need to join the group. You get to watch the replays of the last two sessions so you can catch up with us. You can do it in your own time, but it's time for us to stop fighting this battle by ourselves. It's time for us to not be trying to do this thing in our own flesh, because we will lose. We've been losing. If it's not working, try something different, nah? Like, you know, try something different. There's something else that we should be doing. And it's time for us to get on the battlefield, but fighting with the right tools. It's not just about praying, and it's not just about moving. It's about both of them. Strategic prayer and intentional action. And so this is what we do in this group. We are figuring out what works for each person, because not every family is going through exactly the same thing, but prayer and action 100% work for everybody. That's where the real transformation is. So if you're interested, you want to join our crew, you want to join our army, yes, our Motherhood Mantle army, like, join. Like, I'm going to put the comment in the comment section or somewhere. I'll put the link to join. If you don't see it, it's in my banner. Press my banner. If not, DM me and I'll get you the link. But I'm not going to keep you any longer. But what you need is people on your team. You need the right people on your team. You need to be doing the right actions, doing the right things. And yeah, I'm just encouraging you. It only takes one. And you probably know you're the one. Okay? So just grab it. Just grab it. I want you to understand that this is not something that you are learning to become. It's already within you. Your assignment is already within you. It's within your grasp. It's just a little bit, it's hiding a little bit. It's been, hey, things. It's been hidden a little bit. We've been schooled out of it. We've been social media'd out of it. We've been talked out of it. We've been all of those things out of it, right? So I'm the one. That's right. The one to break the cycles. Say it loud and proud. We're the ones to break the cycles. And so, would you look at this? It's wonderful, isn't it? Motherhood. So I'm going to let you go so I can go do my thing. Have an awesome week. And I will speak with you all next week. Stay tuned. Same time, same space. I'll be here 1 p.m. UK and 8 a.m. EST. I'll see you next week.